It's that time of year again when the laurels come out and people start giving their Gear of the Year awards. So let's get into it. What has been my favorite gear from 2023? I'm going to kick things off and talk about clothing since I haven't talked about clothing in a while. Starting off with my favorite shoe, and it is the Giro Tracker Speed Lace. I reviewed the BOA version of this shoe and mostly liked it except for the whole BOA thing. I bought these with my own money just to see if I would like the Speed Lace any better, and turns out they're pretty awesome. I was a little skeptical. I mean, like, why not just use regular laces? But these are actually pretty fast to cinch down, and in my experience, hold their tightness a lot better than BOA laces. Another big plus is if you do break these, you can easily replace it with regular analog laces. So what makes this shoe so great? Well, for me, it is its flat pedal design, and most cycling shoes that are designed for flat pedals tend to be designed with mountain biking in mind. So a lot of padding, a lot of extra protection. The Giro Tracker, however, is pretty svelte and slimmed down and is more like a road/gravel shoe, which is the kind of riding I like to do. It's really lightweight and the outsole is really grippy. In some ways, they're a lot like a more minimal trail running shoe if they just beefed up the sole a bit so your foot doesn't crumple over the pedal. This combination of things, being a flat pedal shoe that isn't overly built up, that doesn't have goofy proprietary lacing systems, is actually a rare combination, and is the reason why, for me, this is my favorite gravel/cycling shoe of the year. Okay, let's talk about shorts. This year I've tried out multiple pairs, everything from the Or Not mission shorts to the Café du Cycliste cycling shorts. But there was only one short that I liked enough to keep during our big move to Spain and make it across the pond, and it is the Rivendell Musa shorts. Musa stands for Made in the USA, in case you didn't know that. So of the three, I think the Or Not shorts were probably the most nicely tailored and most kind of everyday wear short, but I found personally that the leg hole opening was a little small, making it tight when actually riding. They also ran surprisingly warm, and knowing that we're going to move to a place which is mostly warm most of the year, they didn't quite make the cut. The Café du Cycliste shorts were pretty interesting. They did have a generous leg hole. I love the material is light and flowy. I also like the wider band on the elastic waist, but for me, the cut was a little too long and veered too closely to a board short, which is fine if that's what you're looking for, but I wanted like a shorts, just regular shorts. And because of that reason, the Rivendell Musa shorts fit the bill. I love this fabric. It's really durable and quick drying, but also fairly lightweight. Also, the leg hole openings are pretty generous, so if you have bigger thighs, it doesn't restrict your mobility. These are also cut short enough for me to be above my knees, so they read like shorts and not like cargo baggies or something like that. And I think they're nice enough to be actually worn around town. Because of this mix of durability, lightweightness, quick dryingness, feeling great when you're actually pedaling, and they're nice enough to wear around. These are my favorite shorts of the year for 2023. Let's talk bike bags, one of my favorite topics on the channel. And this year it's kind of a tie for two bags. One is a on the bike bag and another is more of an all-rounder everyday bike adjacent bag. The first one is the Or Not handlebar bag. This is a handlebar bag that I didn't necessarily think I would like because it tends to be on the smaller side of the bags I review, but it's really thought out. It comes with some great touches. When you buy it, it comes with these rubber valet straps that I like. It comes with a super minimal holster here to put a iPhone, and other nice touches like the top zipper actually wraps around the corner, so it makes it a lot easier to get bigger and bulkier things in the bag. It also has a bunch of sleeves to help extend its carrying capacity, both front and back. So really well thought out, so much so that Laura ended up buying her own bag of this after she saw me rocking it. So yeah, the Or Not handlebar bag, surprise favorite. The next bike bag that I tried, which I absolutely loved so much that I wanted to bring it with me to Spain, is this guy. It is the Outer Shell Everyday Tote. What's unique about this bag is that it is designed to clip onto a walled basket, but like the name suggests, it makes an awesome everyday tote. This makes a great bag for taking with you on an airplane as your personal item. I use it every day here in Catalonia for running errands, doing groceries. It's just extremely well thought out. First off, it's got these double handles so you can carry it short or use the longer handle so you can sling it over your shoulder. One nice plus is that it has a zippered closure. So if you take this on the metro, it keeps prying hands from prying. On the back side here, it's got sleeve pockets. Perfect place to put a boarding pass or reading material. And on the other side, there's a more secure zippered pocket. So you can slip your phone really quickly in here as you're traveling through the airport and have quick access without opening up the top. The interior is big and roomy. I can fit a 16-inch MacBook in here. So just a brilliant, brilliant bag. Like its name suggests, the perfect everyday tote in my opinion. Hey there everybody, it's Future Russ here in the editing bay. If you guys have been enjoying this video or the channel this year, please consider supporting the channel by joining us on Patreon or hitting up the merch store. We've got some fun shirts, like our very spicy and controversial Save the Front Derailleur shirt, or our rim brakes, our disc brake shirts, and our groovy 70s party pace shirt. All right, let's get back to the video. Okay, so let's shift to hardware. Pun sort of intended. And first off, yes, I'm gonna be a little self-serving here, but the Uno shifter. And this was a shifter idea that we hatched with Jim from Mary Sales, and he made it possible. If you're not familiar, it's a shifter that will literally work with every single rear derailleur out there that uses a cable. So 7-speed, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, even tried it on campy 13-speed, it works. Road rear derailleurs, mountain bike rear derailleurs, if you just want one shifter that you know will literally work with every rear derailleur out there on the market, then this is the one to get. It's the perfect shifter for anyone that likes to Frankenstein their bike. Since the initial setup, there has been literally zero maintenance to this thing. You know, again, it's friction, so you know, the accuracy of the shift is up to you. So far, it's exceeded my expectations. It's worked a lot better than I actually thought. The longer lever gives good leverage against modern derailleurs with a clutch, and it also holds its position fairly well. If it does loosen, there is a wing nut. You can tighten it, or you can add a drop of Loctite to really lock things down. I sent the prototype to Adam Sklar for his ride on the Divide, and he said it worked flawlessly, and he's actually still running it to this day. So moving on, let's talk cranks. One of my favorite bits of hardware this year was the Dixna Le Cranks that's sold by Alex Cycles from Japan. What's unique about them is you can get them in a 110/74 BCD. They come in a really shiny silver. They use external bottom brackets if that's important to you. And you can get them in lengths from 130 to 170 in, I believe, like 2.5 millimeter increments, which is just bananas. So the 110/74 BCD lets you run compact wide range doubles that I like, something like a 4026. So you've got a good chain ring for about 95% of your riding, and then a super low bailout gear for when you're fully loaded or going up on steep climbs. I've been using these cranks on 2 of my personal bikes this past year, and they have performed flawlessly. So if you're looking for a crankset that blends that old school 110/74 BCD, but uses modern things like external bottom brackets and lets you get shorter cranks, then definitely check out the Dixna Le Crank. Let's talk bike portage hardware. There were 2 big standouts to me this year. The first one was the Ortlieb quick release rear rack. This is perfect for those that may only have one bike and sometimes want to run the rack or remove it for whatever various reasons. It's a great option for travel because it makes it super easy to pop off and stick everything in your bike case. My experience with the rack, despite its quick release design, it was super rigid. The way it works is it has these lugs that you attach to eyelets on your bike that the quick release clamp onto. If there are any downsides, it can be a little bit finicky depending on where the eyelets are placed on your bike. It might interfere with the hoods of certain dropouts, or if the eyelets aren't perfectly parallel, it can be problematic mounting it. I think this could be fixed if they came out with a through axle solution, since those always tend to be in the same spot. But despite all those things, it's a great option if you want a quick release rack that won't break the bank. Sort of related to racks is the Cycles Manville basket. I guess that makes it more of a rasket, if you will. This is the first bike basket that I think is going to give the Wald 137 a run for its money. It has very similar dimensions, although it's a little bit wider. The walls are a little bit more vertical and also shorter. The best part of this basket is the included hardware. It has easily adjustable struts where you don't have to cut anything, and they're all fairly neat. When it's mounted on your bike with the hardware, it's a lot cleaner and more svelte looking than the Wald stuff that clamps onto your handlebars. A lot of people just buy the plain basket and zip tie it to a rack. The Cycles Manville basket is a great all-in-one solution. This is all you have to buy. You don't have to buy the basket and a separate rack to place it on because the accompanying hardware is actually pretty good. A couple of honorable mentions for bike racks is the Tim Taz Rec stem mounted bag support, as well as the 7 Roads stem rack. Both of them do the same thing, both of them great options as well. So let's talk about tools. One of my favorite tools of all time, on bike tools that is the Silca Tatico pump. I have wished, however, that it was a little bit more gravel specific, if you will, a little bit more high volume. And that is where the Silca Gravelero pump steps in. It's a mini pump that is very similar to the Tatico pump. It uses a hose as well as a locking chuck, which is nice because it won't accidentally unscrew your Presta valve cores. The biggest difference is that it does have a wider chamber, making it better for high volume, low pressure tires like you would find on a gravel bike. I haven't had the chance to do a scientific test back to back with the Tatico and the Gravelero, but anecdotally, it does seem to inflate my 650B by 48mm tires a lot quicker. So if you're looking for a mini pump and your tire pressures don't usually exceed, say, 40 PSI, then definitely check out the Silca Gravelero. So let's talk bike controls. I'm gonna talk about these 3 items all together since they mesh together well. The first one is the handlebar. My favorite handlebar during the last year has been the Ritchie Correlatos bar. They have a very similar vibe to the Venture Max, but unlike the Venture Max, they don't have that ergonomic kink, and it has an even shallower drop. The ones I'm running personally are the size 48. And what's great about them is although they have some flare, it doesn't flare out so much that you can't get the brake hoods parallel. The drops are even shallower still when compared to the Venture Max, so this makes them super usable and super comfortable even if you aren't a 20-year-old super skinny bike racer. They also have a bit of rise at 15mm, so if you accidentally cut your stair tube too short or just want to get your riding position a little bit more upright, these handlebars will help you out. Let's talk handlebar tape. I tested a bunch this year, everything from the reusable cloth grep tape, which comes in a whole bunch of fun colors, as well as the tape from our friends at Camp and Go Slow. Tape that won me over and the tape that I brought with me to Spain is the ESI silicone wrap tape. I'm a big fan of the ESI silicone grips. So imagine those grips, but in curly bar form. What's great about them is they are thick and cushy, just like their grips. They don't have adhesive backing. So if you have to remove the tape for whatever reason, it's not gonna eat itself and it doesn't become single use. I find that they offer a nice cushion grip with or without gloves. They also dry fairly quickly. If there are any downsides to this tape, the first one is that it initially off-gasses this cherry Coke smell for at least 3 or 4 days. And also the tape does tend to look chunky on your handlebar. It's as if you filleted the Michelin Man and wrapped them around your handlebars, so that look isn't to everyone's taste, but dang, they are so comfy. And lastly, one of my favorite components from this year is the TRP SSL brake lever. This might be the best non-integrated brake lever for cable brakes out there on the market. So what makes them so good? The levers themselves are a little bit more squared off. They're a lot more similar to the modern GRX levers. Setting up the brakes is a lot easier with them. If you've ever used the old Tektro or Cane Creek levers, you know you have to thread in the cable head and find this little dark hole. With the TRPs, the angle isn't as severe. Also, the interior is this light gray, so it's way easier to find the hole. And also the part that holds the cable head has a split, so it's just a lot more forgiving to set up. I also think the leverage point is different from the Tektro and Cane Creek levers I've used in the past. They just seem to work really, really well with the Paul clampers. If you're running clampers, these might be the best non-integrated brake lever out there on the market. What do you guys think of my best picks for gear and doodads for 2023? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys are enjoying the channel, please consider supporting us by joining us on Patreon. It's the best way to do it. Or pick up some merch, some stickers, some patches and pins and all that good stuff. Still not too late to get it before Christmas if you're in the States. And as always, everybody, keep the supple side down.